All right, what about with you? I read you started. Did you start in 1998 doing stand up?
So 1998 October was the first time I did stand up comedy in my life, and by then the only stand up comedy show I had seen was Delirious with Eddie Murphy, because for some reason that tape went around in townships all over the country.
Great.
But when I was doing my show, it was the first time I was doing stand-up, was the first time I was at a stand-up comedy show.
Whoa, really?
Yeah. So
that was your first time even seeing live stand-up.
Yeah,
I'm assuming you saw it on TV.
October. And besides the Eddie Murphy Delirious tape.
In 1998, 4 years after apartheid's end, I read that you were the only, everyone else on the show was white. And there was, is that correct? All the other comedians?
So commercially, I started with a friend of mine, Kagiso Lediga. We studied together. We came up with a comedy sketch show together in varsity that saw TV like 6 years later. We started stand-up comedy together. But commercially, I became, the kind of the black guy who was doing stand-up. But the lineup and what you're talking about, the Smirnoff International Comedy Festival, which is where I met Russell Peters. And that's how I've been friends with Russell for like 20 years or something.
And Ruben Paul, did you meet him through Russell?
And then I met Ruben Paul when he was touring with Russell. So that was 44 comedians, international, South Africans, Jimmy Carr and them. That's where I met Jimmy Carr, Russell, Ross Noble. Then I became like the only black comedian in that lineup, right?
Wow.
And then I had free tickets, complimentary tickets to the show, and I was staying in a dorm, in a res. Then I gave the tickets I had for one show to my mates in class. So one night there were 60 black people, students at the show, which was the first time, honestly, besides like ushers and whatever. And then the following night, I had comms for a separate show. And then the same sort of 60 student guys that I had given comms, then I came back. It was
nice.
Like the first time there were like black people out watching comedy.
And this is 4 years. I mean, this is 4 years after.
This is 4 years after Nelson Mandela has been the president.
Yeah.
So there's been obviously a lot of white comedians who've been performing. Mel Miller, Joe Parker. These guys have been going since like 1950 something, 1960 something.
Yeah, they have a history like we do.
They have a history, but yeah. So that went on for like maybe 2 years where I was the black guy, a friend of mine, Kagiso, Tsepo Mkhale, Ronnie Mudimula. And then I started doing a show called Comedy Blackout before Blacks Only, which was a lineup of black comics. Brought Pierre the comic, Pierre Edwards, Willie and Woody with the puppet.
Yep.
So I brought out all these guys. That's when I first met Dwayne Perkins. So Dwayne was emceeing one of the comedy blackouts. So this is now in the 2000s.
Okay.
When I started pretty much now, co-producing my own shows with my managers. That went on for about 4 years. And then I started doing Blacks Only in 2004, 2003, 2004. I did Blacks Only because now I wanted to do a show for black people because my entire career I was performing to white people. I'd be performing to like 4,000 white people and there'd be like 2 black people in the audience. That was kind of like my career and the makeup of my career for like 2 years. And then, started doing Comedy Blackout, and then Blacks Only from 2004, literally 2018, when I last saw Ruben, we were doing a 10,000 seater in Johannesburg at the Dome.
That's what he told me. These are like stadiums.
Music festival venue,
10,000 seats.
Yeah, so normally we'd do like 3,000-4,000 people per show, do 3 shows a year in Joburg, do Cape Town, Durban, maybe 2 shows. Then I do another festival where I come from in the Free State province, which will do like 5,000 people on a Wednesday night.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
And I did
that the audience
for like 10 years. The audience largely 90%, 96% black, still white people, Indian people, colored people. It's almost like the makeup of the country, right? Which is fair. So the shows would still be largely in English, but some of the guys would choose to do their Venek, their Zulu, their Pedi language, South Sutu here and there. But still largely, white people would buy front row seats to come to a Blacks Only show, because they're always first at the ticket sales and shit.
White people are good at getting tickets.
Good bit. There you go.
There you go.
They thought they're just buying tickets. They were not aware.
Good.
They are buying the first row. So,
They didn't know which show.
and then,
then-
a couple of TV shows, directed like 20 movies for Mnet, Multi-Choice, Mzansi Magic, which is like our cable channel, except it's digital terrestrial, DSTV, right? Over time, maybe in the past 7 to 10 years, we've got a movie out on Netflix now called Blitz Patrolli, which is like a Bad Boys, Rush Hour type buddy cop film.
Okay.
It's called Blitz Patrolli. It's actually in the top 5 buddy cop films to watch on Netflix, including Spencer Confidential #1,
Yeah.
Hot Fuzz, and then Blitz Patrolli at #5.
Nice.
There you go.
Amazing.
So- crack the algorithm.
So now you can imagine Netflix wants to have a chat. Maybe we'll do another one.
Money, Netflix.
Maybe we're talking about a
Yeah,
sequel.
we'll see.
Maybe.
We'll see. Amazing. So when you're doing these shows in the 90s and the audience is 100% white, is that because those are the people who knew what
That
comedy
was just the makeup of the stand-up comedy industry, entertainment in South Africa. There
Why,
were no
though?
black stand-up comics commercially.
Why? Like, what's the? Is it
I have
because these
no
people who
idea.
can afford the ticket, or
I have no idea. So you've got people that if they think stand-up comedy, I'm their reference, right? Or people
Sure.
that if they became stand-up comics or wanted to be stand-up comics, it's because they saw me being a stand-up comic and they thought, fuck, maybe there's something here. So, but I mean, I don't know why. It's just how shit was. And
it was
I
just
guess
seen as a thing that white people did?
Yeah. So, and it's puzzling. I mean, even today, there's still no comedy clubs, by the way, in South Africa. So
There's no
the
comedy
one
clubs.
that was premier just tanked liquidation during COVID. Parker's Comedy and Jive. Joe Parker, fantastic guy, 20 years of making room and space for comedians to perform in South Africa. Unfortunately, this COVID shit has lost everything,
Yeah.
The Goliaths, these other kids had a comedy club / restaurant. I think it went on for maybe 2 years or 3 years. I'm not sure. Eventually, they had to fold it. Cape Town Comedy Club, another comic, Stuart Taylor, had to fold it, especially with COVID. Fuck me. Here we go. Welcome to South Africa. This is the fucking country I live in.
Well, yeah.
It's
For
gone
anyone
black.
who's listening, the camera just
video.
went black. We can still hear you though. So we will see.
So let me explain to you what just happened.
Yeah,
Yes.
what happened there?
So basically, we just had a power cut in South Africa, which is now rolling power cuts that for about 2 to 4 hours, there's no electricity. Doesn't matter how rich you are, unless you
my God.
build a set of sustainable, independent power system or backup generator, solar power, blah, 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 which is then one of the fuck ups that we're sitting with today in South Africa, basically.
Yeah.
So the generators might kick in at some places, at some office parks, but
Yeah. The
It's,
lights for anyone
It's dark.
listening. The
It's
lighting
totally
just,
dark.
The lights
Yeah.
just went out.
You're in an
Although-
Yeah.
office somewhere.
Obviously your phone still works, so we're talking to you, but
so
it's not plugged in.
I'm using my my phone data now. I was on Wi-Fi. The backup generator here just sort of came on, but it's these are now some of the shit that everybody's just like, this is where we've come. So from the Nelson Mandela Dream to all the Asgisas and Gear projects and NDP, there's actually not enough power in South Africa, and they've said there won't be for the next 5 years.
Wow.
There's not enough power in general. Just
Intermittent.
Yeah.
So you get it, you lose it for 4 hours a day.
4
It's
hours.
winter now in South Africa, so we're fucked. I had to go buy wood and take it to my house, so
Oh,
my wife
wow.
and kids can make fire to
Oh my
keep
gosh.
warm.
and then the Wi-Fi is. You're saying the
Everything
Wi-Fi go
fucks
down.
out. So
Yeah.
the towers need electricity. The cell phone towers, even if you've got your own backup system at home, the towers in the street are only going to be alive for so long, and because the power cut goes on for way too long in terms of even their backup is gonna fuck out eventually.
Yeah.